We're going, Alfie.
Here we go.
How you doing? Right, I'm Tim from Egg Chasers. This is Alfred Reynolds from Alfred Reynolds.
It's weird saying Alfred Reynolds, isn't it? Alfie to Tim, Alfred Reynolds for my YouTube channel.
Yes, exactly. So is this going on my channel then? Or is it yours or what?
Either or. But it's going up somewhere, and we're here in France.
Salut.
Cheers. In Marseille. We've got the Ireland game on in the background. It's heading towards half-time there. Heading to the England game tonight.
The screens have just gone dead.
Yeah, the bar. I think it
must be half-time.
We've chosen the one bar in Marseille where there seems to be having a problem with actually streaming the rugby.
The one bar? Mate, there's a few screens been going down. Well, the fan village wasn't even open yesterday. So
yeah, well maybe we can get onto that possibly. But
yeah.
I mean, it's good to be here, isn't it? We've been chatting for months in terms of our preparation, our plans, getting out here to actually be on the ground, particularly in Marseille. It's just awesome. Like, it's so good to be there.
I just poured water down myself. Honestly, this is my first one, I swear.
It actually genuinely is Tim's first beer. But Tim, let's use it as a chance to, I suppose, reflect on last night with France, New Zealand, the atmosphere out here. I mean, you kick it off wherever you want to start with.
Oh, it was great being in. Oh, you were in France. You were in Paris for it.
Yeah.
The French public are totally behind this team, and that's one thing as an Englishman that I'm envious of, is the connection between the public and the national team. Because I mean, they've got players like Antoine Dupont they can get behind. Charles Olivon, what a man! Gregory Aldridge. You go through the whole team.
Damien
Thomas Ramos. There's guys on billboards, adverts, in newspapers, everywhere you look. And there's something that the French public can get on board with and get behind, and that's great for rugby. And I think, bearing in mind all the negative stories there are in rugby in a minute, it's brilliant to have France domestic league, national team, public, everything is absolutely buzzing at the minute.
It almost feels like it's the perfect place to host a World Cup at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Almost with where rugby is. I know South Africa are long overdue hosting another tournament, and the public there would massively get behind it as well. But you're right, in terms of the things you list. And I was in Paris yesterday, as you say, and I was saying to someone else actually who's part of the media about what it would be like if it was in London in terms of the exposure to it and the amount of players on billboards. And don't get me wrong, Paris is such a big city that I'm sure there are plenty of people there who maybe aren't aware the World Cup's gone on, but you ride all the public transport, you walk around the streets, you see the players on billboards everywhere you go. And if we were hosting a World Cup in London at this moment in time, I think it'd be a very different story because of where rugby is in the UK.
Yeah, so I'd say that's a massive positive. Obviously, you could take that glass half empty and go, well, isn't it English rugby's in the in the gutter at the minute? But the positive is what's happening in France. Now, I only see that going from strength to strength over the years. You see the attraction of the domestic league. All the big stars want to come and play here. The money is here.
Well, it's financially viable, isn't it? In terms of they've got multiple layers in their pyramid domestically that are professional, and good TV deal. And
they did the business on the pitch. Any thoughts, like, now you've got a bit of time to sit with last night's actual performance, what are the big takeaways?
Well, it's interesting because I feel like my takeaways are kind of slightly different to everyone else's.
You're so cool.
Which I know, yeah.
Rugby hipster.
Rugby hipster, yeah. No, not deliberately. I wonder whether I'm partly blinded by my own biases in a way, because I was actually someone that was kind of looking at the French team coming into the World Cup and thinking, well, they have a lot of tight games, there's a lot of games that could go either way. I don't know if they're as good as a lot of people are saying, but I watched it and thought that my big takeaway, put it this way, was when New Zealand click and get it right, they can beat absolutely anyone at this tournament. But doing it consistently is ultimately the issue. But I think most people's takeaway has been New Zealand aren't that great. They could lose to Italy in the group, and France have a game plan which just ground them down, which I do think is true, by the way. But maybe they aren't as positive about the All Blacks as I've been.
My takeaway, I think, from last night is that it's not... Yes, 15 players on the pitch at any one time will win a World Cup, but the 23-man squad's important, and the 33-man squad is even more important. And France just have a very, very good 33-man squad. Jonathan Danty drops out, and I mean they obviously miss him, but not to the degree that New Zealand missed Geordie Barrett.
Yeah.
And Julian Marchand goes off early in the game, and Piato Malvaca comes on and has an absolute stormer. So I just think, and their front row, Cyril Bay's not there,
and Willemse.
And yeah, Vardy had a great game, and Aldergary and the loose head prop Gross comes on, and they were great. They ground New Zealand into dust in the second half. So I think the squads are what's going to win it, and they also were. I thought they played a really smart game.
Well, I think that's a big point. Squad, you're absolutely right, but game plan as well. In that I look at France and I think they have a game plan that, at least on paper or looking at it, it looks like it could win a World Cup. In that they didn't do anything that flashy for a lot of the game. They kick the ball away a lot. They take points when they're on offer. They grind teams down, and then when they get their opportunity, they got the players of quality in that team that they can strike and score tries.
And they did take risks, and sometimes you thought they took a few too many risks when giving the odd pass that they could have won by more, but they like you say, they were willing to go for it. And especially as soon as I think there's definitely one thing I've spotted lately: the second a team goes down a man, it's clearly the coaches are saying, right, then we go. Ireland do it a lot. They never take penalty kicks; they kick for the corner, whoever they're playing, when they're a man down, and they exploit the space. And France just like clicked into a different gear when Jordan went off. They were like, right, let's go.
You also know that if we do get to the end of October and France are hoisting that trophy at the Stade de France in Paris, the Champs-Élysées will pack out, flares all along it like we've seen when they've won a Football World Cup. Like, as a storyline, it would be great. And I know that there's a lot of other good storylines for teams at this World Cup, but you feel like everything is kind of in place for them to win it? Yeah,
I think South Africa, because of the squad, like I say, and the depth and the quality.
Just quickly, do you think South Africa have a stronger squad than France? Because they're the two best 33-man squads at this World Cup, aren't
they have I'd say South Africa have the best 33-man squad in the sense that it doesn't really matter who gets picked. It's of a high quality. I do think the ceiling for the French team that they can put out on the field is higher than anybody else's, just because of the sheer number of world-class talents. South Africa have got a bunch of them. Don't get me wrong, but France have a lot of them. You go through the team and Cyril Bay, Julian Marchand if he stays fit, Owini Atonio, the whole back row.
Yeah, I mean, we forget that they've lost Jalonche as well, don't we?
Yeah.
Because he got injured so long.
Yeah, Kroos has been amazing. So, and Jalabert, when it really mattered, he stepped in and did the business. So we're gonna find out a lot about Marnie Libok against Scotland and against Ireland.
I can't wait for that game tomorrow, by the way. We're both going to be at that one.
Yeah, we're here in Marseille at the moment, and the people on the table next to us have got Argentina jerseys on their Argentinians. There's England fans everywhere. There's loads of Scotland fans as well, and South African jerseys walking about. The game we're really excited about is Scotland-South Africa, even as Englishmen.
Yeah, well, I think partly because of England's build-up, right, and we'll see how they get on tonight and whether they are able to turn it around. All the noise from the England camp in the week has been everyone's written us off already. We're going to be better than we have been in the warm-ups. Look, we'll wait and see. The reality is the evidence in front of us, what we've had so far, is that England aren't very good. And I think that is why we're so excited for that Ireland and Scotland game, because Scotland and South Africa game, because they're two top quality sides that are coming into this World Cup in really good form.
Agreed. The second half just kicked off.
Is it the second half or has the TV just started working again?
Well, one or the other. One or the other. So me and Alfie are going to put these little dead mice away, and we're going to we'll be at the stadium later. Depending on when you watch this, we make that. Anyway, bottom line is hit subscribe on the channel and go to Alfred Reynolds and hit subscribe there. Watch Alfie's content. We'll be doing a bunch of stuff. We've got a show together on TalkSport through the World Cup, and that means we'll have the pleasure of each other's company, and we can put some stuff up here. So if you appreciate the content, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe. Nice one, Alfie.
Nice one. Rugby World Cup show on TalkSport 2 every Tuesday. It's also going up as a podcast as well.
There you go. You can tell he's the producer. He's got all the detail. Right. See you on the next one.